Good afternoon, everybody. We are back Thursday, right side of campus, November 2nd, 2017. I'm your host of Big Men on Campus, joined by my co host, Donnie Wright. Said, Donnie, we embark on another Thursday, another week of football. College basketball starts next week, Donnie. How about that? We got a lot to do today. Thursday night football coming up. We got a couple of college games, and we'll also embark on the NFL week here on the right side of campus. Donnie, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Hey, action last night came up with a little bit of more change in my pocket than I started the night, so it was a nice move there going over the total in the Central Michigan, Western Michigan game. The one thing I didn't factor in that game, and again, Jeff, we talk about this all the time in the MAC. Out of nowhere, the single leading sack artist in NCAA football who plays for Central Michigan, Ostman, mysteriously is out with an injury last night and doesn't start. And wouldn't you know, it doesn't even matter in action. The pouring rain doesn't matter. The backup quarterbacks don't matter. It goes over the total. Central Michigan gets the cover without their best defensive football player in the rain, coming back from 14 down the second half. That's action for you right there, Jeff.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about this game. We didn't have the right side. We had the roundtable yesterday, and this game kind of went pretty much by the wayside. I know for you and I, but I know you talked about it. Yeah, it was an interesting game. I mean, Wasink didn't play, which this quarterback situation for Western Michigan's been odd all year. I mean, uh, Tom Flacco leaves the team, goes to Rutgers. Wasink comes in. He's been in and out of the lineup, been out lately. And then, you got the new kid last night. So it's been a bit of a tough year for Western Michigan from the quarterback perspective. Obviously having, Zach Terrell there for so many years. And they just, they have a great run game, Donnie, but the quarterback situation has been a little volatile for them. And I got to give Central Michigan some respect. I mean, what a comeback. I mean, you're down. I mean, you're really the whole game. I mean, you were down, 7-14 the whole game. You're really in the rain, the pouring rain. I mean, it wasn't light either. It was raining heavily most of that game. Um, a great job by them coming back in that one. Shane Morris, Donnie, put on his big boy pants last night.
Yeah, no, he's usually is awful in the rain. That was one of the worries about trying to get that over, even a cover at that point. But Willis might be the best wide receiver in that conference overall. Showed up last night in the rain, making a couple big catches. I believe went over for like 150 yards, 7 or 8 catches in that game. He was pretty impressive there. But yeah, Wasink snaps his collarbone in the last game in the fourth quarter versus Eastern Michigan, which was so hard to get for me to actually cap a side in this game because I only saw about 10 or 15 plays out of the young kid. I knew he was a read option quarterback, couldn't throw the ball that well. But the one thing you can always count on with Western Michigan, even with Levante Bellamy out of the lineup, is they have two horses with Bogan and Franklin at running back, and they showed up early and often in that one. I wasn't so much worried about Central Michigan unless it rained really hard, which it did, because they have three unbelievable wide receivers and a great tight end with an elusive running back. The only problem is Shane Morris sometimes is a little bit off in the rain. If you watch him versus Toledo, he was a straight up embarrassment, but then comes back the next week versus Ball State in nice weather, and he has all those weapons at his, discrepancy there and can use them. It was a nice comeback winner last night, easy winner for the closing line, giving out the over 48. So that was nice. Didn't have to sweat it too much. Got over the total. Was a nice winner.
Yeah, Donnie, I already hit the fucking block button here. That Blake guy's been bothering people in here for weeks. At what point are we going to get rid of him? I'm bringing the guns out, Donnie. I don't do it often anymore, but I'm sick of some of these people. We've got a lot of great people in here. No need to be a dick, Blake. Okay, you're always on here being a dick. No need to be a dick. Not in the mood today, Donnie. After the Real Madrid pick yesterday, yeah, Blake wants to come on here and be like that. No need, Blake. Come on here and be a normal person. If you don't, I'm gonna get rid of you. Sorry, Donnie. Yesterday I gave out Real Madrid, and I know you don't mess a ton in soccer, but I had to address Real
Mhm.
Madrid. I mean, you have a team that is arguably the best team in the world. I mean, they always have been with Ronaldo and Benzema and Bale and Modric and all these great players. But this team is in a real poor, they're at a really poor level right now. I mean, you lose over the weekend to a Girona team that just comes out of relegation in the second league. Then you go to Wembley yesterday and you get shut out and lose 3-0. What the hell's going on with Real Madrid right now? Unbelievable, amazing. I couldn't believe that performance. Really, really surprising. And you know, I keep saying Manchester City's the best team in the world. They're starting to prove that. Barcelona's struggling right now a little bit. Real Madrid's really having problems. A poor pick. I thought we were getting great value there. Ronaldo continues to struggle. They kind of remind me right now, Donnie, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're struggling a little bit as well. But let's get into what happened last night, Donnie, and what a night it was. We crowned baseball's best. The Astros get the job done. And you know what, Donnie? This one was over pretty early. I mean, I know a lot of people thought, well, the Dodgers will come back. You know, they're resilient and they had been all year. But I got to tell you, I think they made a wrong move. They had to go with Darvish, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can go to Kershaw. I mean, I guess you could. I think it's what you have to do. Um, Dave Roberts made mistakes last night, and they were pretty much done early.
No, you're right. Well, I mean, if you take Yu Darvish out of the series, the Dodgers are probably World Series champions. But who's going to predict that when you take one of your aces out of the lineup? The problem I had last night with the Dodgers, they had plenty of chances, but Bellinger and Seager just aren't ready for prime time. I mean, just if you would have taken those guys out, maybe put some backups in, it would have been a different situation. But Bellinger was atrocious, and so was Seager. It's one of those things where you look at in baseball, which this is just a product of the environment now. Those two guys are basically, I'm going to hit a home run, or I'm not even going to come within 6 to 8 inches of the pitch I'm trying to swing at, and that's going to catch up to you. Bellinger was like Ryan Howard up there, hobbling around at the plate, just having no
Yeah,
idea what he's doing. And you can't do that as if you're going to sit and do that as the eighth hole hitter, and you say, Curtis Granderson, I'm going to put you in the eighth hole, swing from your heels. It doesn't even matter if you make contact. 1 out of every 6 games, if you hit a home run, that's fantastic. That's all we'll take. You can't have a 4-hole hitter just be an absolute bum in the World Series in the brightest moments. And, Jeff, it's not even about you have a low batting average. There's something to be said about putting the ball in play where you can move runners around and make productive outs. You threw the same pitch to Bellinger the entire series, and he swung at it every single time and completely missed. Bellinger is my donkey of the series here. If he doesn't play in the series, Jeff, maybe the Dodgers win.
I mean, last night 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. You could make the same comment, Donnie, and say that Bellinger was so big for them all year. I mean, but you look at the truth of the matter with this club. You look at the top of the lineup. You look at this whole lineup. Okay, in this series, Seager 222, Taylor 222, Turner 160, Bellinger 143, Puig 148. Austin Barnes 174. I mean, the only hitters that hit over 278 were Logan Forsythe, who doesn't play every day, and Peterson and Ethier. I mean, it's just not. It wasn't good enough. You can't go 1 for 13 and pitch that way. They made a mistake. Not only was going with Darvish, but they just didn't hit last night. And they didn't hit the other night either. They just had some timely ones that came in. You can't play like that in a game seven. Houston played better and they won. This game was over very early, Donnie. I think when they went up, what was it, 5-0, it was over. They weren't coming back. You're not going to blow a 5-0 lead in the game seven. You're just not. And
Yeah,
credit
especially with all
Houston.
hands on deck, where you can use anybody you want out of the bullpen, any one of your starting pitchers. Yeah, the harder you go down. But he's joking like, is Darvish going to go 2 innings again? No, he's probably going to be fine. Now, he was atrocious right off the bat. I mean, you could just it's almost like from the very first batter that doubles down the line. Like it's almost like what, maybe got to come out of the dugout and pull him already after a base hit because. Again, why didn't you just go, if you're saying, Darvish, the minute you get in trouble and allow a base hit, I'm going right to Kershaw. At least I know he's going to give me 4 innings of good baseball and we'll piecemeal this thing together. You let it get out of hand. He probably shouldn't even have came back after the first inning, but you let him get that leash again and he gets tattooed and gives up 5 total runs again. And you can't recover from that. You just can't do it.
I mean, you also look at like an unsung hero in the series. And what was the growing notion going into the series, Donnie? Houston had the edge in the lineup, but the Dodgers were an unbelievable bullpen. First of all, they were shit. This whole series, they weren't good enough. Their starting pitching, Darvish wasn't good enough. But you look at Houston, Donnie. Charlie Morton in this series, 10 and a third, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. I mean, he was fantastic, Donnie. Charlie Morton. I mean, and in opportune times, I mean, starting a game. I mean, Charlie Morton, Donnie. This guy was on the Phillies last year at one
Yeah.
point. I mean, wasn't pitching well. I remember at points was a guy you'd fade consistently. What a
Mhm.
what a real, and if anything, I mean, Charlie Morton's had a very average career, but what a real, kind of, resurgence, if you will, in a two-game resurgence. He was critical for them to win games like this, keeping leads, just coming in and tiding the turn because McCullers had issues at times. He's putting people on base, he's walking people, he's hitting batters. Charlie Morton was fantastic in this series.
Yeah, and also look at, Roberts, the manager, and a lot of people brought up the same stuff. If you have like, why do you have the infield in at that point when you have a pitcher up and the slowest runner in baseball at third base, where a ground ball actually scored the runner there? Sometimes I just don't. It's to me, Jeff, of all the sports, isn't baseball the easiest to be a manager in? Like, isn't it just easy to tell
It
what you should and shouldn't do in Major League
yeah.
Baseball?
It usually would sounds like it. I know for me it could be difficult with stuff like this, but I still think like the NFL seems pretty easy and like football, but I mean basketball's fairly easy too. But I mean managerial wise, I mean it's not difficult to see. Hey, you know, for instance, when Darvish he gives up that I think it was a 3-run home run. Wouldn't you say, Donnie, he had struggled in the first game against them? It's 2-0. I mean, he really didn't have it at that point either. Guys get on. There's two men on. At that point, wouldn't you consider maybe taking him out? And let
No, he
Springer
doesn't
face
see the
somebody
second
else.
inning from me. Yeah, he doesn't even see
Right.
the second inning from me because when you have your whole pitching staff available for probably at least one inning, and you say, I mean, you have to have a team meeting. You have to have everybody around. Like, look, Darvish was awful last time out. Looks like he's struggling a little bit. You bring them all in. Look, hey, Darvish, I want you to, if you diamond it out there, good luck, kid. We'll send you out 7, 8 innings and we'll let you roll out here. But, you're going to have a short leash tonight. I'm not trying, you're a professional pitcher making $200 million in your contract. If a manager comes to you and says, "Hey, you might have a short leash if you get in trouble," and that really worries the pitcher, then maybe he
But
shouldn't be a pitcher in Major League
Donnie,
Baseball. You know what I
here's
mean?
what I don't get about Dave Roberts. Okay, you give you Darvish about the longest leash as possible, but every time Rich Hill pitched, he pitched fantastic, and you'd want to take him out in the fourth inning. I don't get this guy, Dave Rob. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I think he was really one of the catalysts as to why they lost. But I mean, we also have to point out. I mean, they were 1 for 13 last night with Rogers scoring position. It just wasn't good enough. Donnie, there were also two unsung areas I just want to get to and just mention because I didn't know this. One, I did think it was interesting, Donnie, that I know you probably went to bed at a certain point. You maybe didn't see the ending and how it all worked, but you
Yeah, I was
obviously at
I
this point have
actually once it got to 5-0, I didn't watch anything past that. I
right,
was
right.
watching football
Right.
stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, sure, sure. But you saw obviously the proposal from Carlos Correa. That literally got more love than them actually winning the World Series. I mean, that's all I saw this morning was Carlos Correa proposes to his model girlfriend. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
How
he's
about
already
let's talk
playing it
about
wrong, Jeff. He's already making mistakes in his career, man. Didn't there's a shortstop out there that played it exactly where if when you sign up
right,
in Major League Baseball and you're a really, really good player, especially a shortstop,
right.
you should get a little book that says exactly how to play your career for the most money, be a superstar, play the field, and don't get taken by any woman out there. There's a little booklet out there by a number two that he should have maybe passed on down and said, "Hey kid, what are you, 21? Come on, what are we doing here?"
Well, hey, you know what they say, Donnie? When you find that woman, you just got to kind of snatch her up, right? And he did that, but I mean, it was just getting more love than anything else. I mean, Donnie, I don't, we don't, I didn't know this. I did a little research and found it out. You look at a guy like Evan Gaddis. I mean, which I didn't know about some of this stuff. I mean, he basically in high school, Donnie, instead of going to college, his mother put him into a drug rehab facility. He had a marijuana, alcohol abuse problem. He went undrafted in the 2004 draft. She sends him to an Arizona treatment facility. He goes to 3 months of halfway house time, and then he enrolls at a junior college. Burns out in baseball and quits. He becomes a parking valet attendant, works at a pizza parlor, a ski lift operator. He was depressed and unable to sleep, considered killing himself. Uh, Put him into an inpatient psychiatric hospital, diagnosed with clinical depression. He's then released, goes to Colorado, lives with his brother, becomes a janitor. Then he works at Yellowstone National Park. In 2010, Donnie, 6 years later, he returns to baseball. Now he's a World Series champion. How about that? Little
Yeah, no, the
stories that
lumberjack, man. Good for him. Those are guys you can root for. He's an every man out there. A big dude wears no gloves. He's jacked. He has a beard. He just looks like that lumberjack, and that's a guy you can root for.
but it's like, how about that, Donnie? I mean, we all go through things in our lives. I mean, just the perseverance, the emotional diseases and your mental things in your head. I mean, it takes a lot to get through that. Plus, you add in drugs if you're dealing with that. I mean, just very interesting. I mean, the perseverance there. Good for people like him. Becoming a World Series champion. But yeah, again, awesome World Series. Wasn't a great Game
Yeah.
7, but Donnie, did the right team win?
Right team won. Yeah, they did.
I agree with you. I think for Houston, what an awesome thing for that city. I mean, it, they go through the hurricane. I mean, just a ton. Um, you know, I think the right team won at the end of the day. I thought the Dodgers
I
would
mean,
win,
we
but
all year long, we're getting such a laugh out of the 1 through 8 or 1 through 9 that Houston can run at you. That eventually, like I understand great pitching beats great hitting, but when you just get wore down like a buzzsaw, there's no free outs in that lineup. Boy, it just catches up to you, doesn't it?
yeah, no, for sure. Let's get into some of the games tonight. We'll look towards the NFL card. We actually have 4 college games though, and then we'll get into the NFL. Let's bang through them here. Maction continues tonight. 2 more games. You got one in the American, and then one in the Sun Belt. Donnie, I actually probably would have went to this game tonight if not for going to the Eagles game on Sunday. I would probably would have went to Navy Temple. But let's start at 309, 310. You get the Toledo Rockets hosting the Northern Illinois Huskies. Good game here. We haven't had a lot of.
Look at
I
the
mean,
start
I
times,
guess
Jeff.
from
How you like the start times for these bad
yeah.
boys?
How about that? 6 o'clock Eastern. You have
Yeah.
we've had some interesting matchups, but this should be a really good game. I would imagine. Toledo -7.5. There is an 8 out there as well. If you like Northern Illinois, totals at 56, 57.5. I see a 55.5. I see a 55, Donnie, at U wager. What an amazing number. I mean, you got 55 at U wager. You got 57.5 at bookmaker. A
Yeah,
lot of
they must
different
be
numbers
somebody over
there.
there is just asleep at the wheel, updating those lines. What I imagine.
Yeah, sure. But hey, if you can grab a 55 at U age and you like the
Yeah.
over, bet it now. Now just moved to no, it didn't. It's still a 55. So interesting. They're actually also at 9. They have a 9 number out there. Stale line could be Donnie. Donnie, we also have to get in a little bit later to a little bit of argument out in the great city of Las Vegas. I don't know if we've been
Mm,
following that, but a late night I was. RJ Bell and Brett Musburger swinging. How about that?
yeah.
Brett Musburger
I
putting
did I
out for
did see
all the
that last
real
night.
ones.
Yeah. Everybody
So
out there is so full of it from both sides. Yeah.
we'll get into that a little bit later if we have time. But Donnie, let me ask you. I mean, Northern Illinois, they've had some quarterback issues as well over the last couple of years. I think I read over the last 4 years they've started 5 different quarterbacks coming into the season. They've kind of settled on you know Graham or San Cantarina. They have a decent run game. You got some weapons on the outside there. There's no Kenny Galladay on this team, but there's some decent weapons. BB guys like that. But Toledo comes in here with quite the attack, quite the pass attack, quite the run game as well. Um, I feel like Northern Illinois is a team that can slow down Toledo, but I just don't know that they'll do enough of it. I'm sure they can, but Northern Illinois just looks like a team that's just kind of on that second level of MAC football, kind of with the Central Michigans and the Western Michigans. I look at Toledo as the class of this conference. I think at home here they just impose their will and win by double digits. What do you think here?
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I was doing some digging there, and finally, it's announced that Huff is out, the star running back for Northern Illinois. They haven't had him for a couple weeks, but it was one of those games where maybe he just pops up out of nowhere and plays football because that would be a big, injury or adding it back in. When you look at Northern Illinois overall as a team, Childer's a quarterback. He's, they almost have the same. Like Ryan Graham was more of the passer, and he's been out with the elbow injury. He's probably not going to come back this year. Santa Catarina was that really athletic kid, good arm, but not always on target. I mean, we see it a lot, especially in like MAC football or the lower power fives, where you have that good athlete, drops back to pass. There's a guy wide open 10 feet, or 10 yards down the field,
Billy
sails over his
Ball.
head or throws it at his feet. And you just say, boy, man, you got to make that play there. Childer's a little bit different, more athlete, a good athlete and also a good passer. But again, it gets back into that mold, Jeff, where you're hoping more than what is going to happen on the field. What I mean by that is when he drops back to pass or makes a run, if he makes a good play, like, ooh, that was a really nice play. On the other side of the field for Toledo, Jeff, when Woodside's dropping back and he has a clean pocket, there's only one thing on my mind. Is it going to be 15 yards or is it going to be a touchdown right now that he's about to throw out there? They circle the wagons out there on offense. Everybody catches passes on Toledo. 3, 4 running backs they run in out of the football game. And it all starts with their quarterback, who's the most accurate, complete quarterback, and it's not even close in that conference. Jeff, you always talk about Rourke. Really, he fits what Ohio does really well. Read option, has
Right.
a big arm that you can, play action off it, run pass option, and he can hit the deep ball. Logan Woodside throws the best ball in the MAC. So if
Sure.
somebody's open, he's getting it there. If it's a tough catch, he's putting it right on your hands. How many times do you see that 8-yard slant pass that just rings right off the guy's hands because the guy's just throwing a rocket? Logan Woodside throws pillows out there. Now, looking at this game, Jeff, you see the lines coming out. Open up 9.5, 10. It's at 8, 7.5. To advise for this football game, I'm thinking sharps are going to come in because that's what they like to do before game time. They see more than a touchdown in the MAC. I think they might be able to hit Northern Illinois here to drop that to a 7, maybe a 6.5. I would wait as long as you can in this game, and I would take Toledo if you're getting 7 or less here.
Yeah, I actually remember, Logan Woodside. I mean, he's been there for a number of years. Prolific quarterback. I mean, he's up kind of at the level of like a Cooper Rush. I mean, that's what he is. And I remember reading an article back when they played Miami. The Canes blog was talking about this is probably the best quarterback they're going to see all year. Logan Woodside, he's at Toledo, but I mean, he's turned into quite the quarterback. And I'm actually a little concerned here for Northern Illinois. Yeah, you look at the level of competition and passing games that they've faced, Donnie. Let's go through those quickly. Eastern Illinois, Tony Romo and Garoppolo aren't walking through the door anytime
Yeah.
soon. Nebraska, Tanner Lee throws 4 interceptions a game. San Diego State, they don't throw the ball. Kent State, they don't throw the ball. Buffalo, I mean, they don't throw the ball. Bowling Green, you have 3 or 4 different quarterbacks at a time, seemingly. And Eastern Michigan, have they faced a prolific passing attack like this? I don't think. And even look at, against those teams. I mean, you gave up 299 yards to Tanner Lee. You gave up 344 to Buffalo, 307 to Eastern Michigan. I think they get shredded in this game. Toledo is the best team
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
conference, and it's not close.
And NIU's they're going to hang around in this game because they're a pretty good football team and they have some option elements that can work, especially with Childers a quarterback. They still have a pretty good running game, some good weapons out there. But even if this game gets started, because Toledo started off slow versus Ball State in the previous game and just turned it on. The one thing when you watch football games, especially in the MAC, Jeff, and I've bet against Toledo this year and I've won. I had Eastern Michigan. I believe we were getting 10 or 14. I can't. It was one of the first weekends that I was participating in betting there, but they lost. They didn't have Swanson in that football game, Jeff, and they lost Thompson on the very first drive. Their 2 best athletes out. They still come up with the win against a really tough Eastern Michigan team. But the one thing getting back from a betting perspective is when you look at Toledo, Jeff, on offense, what do you think when they have on offense? It's not, man, if we could get a couple first downs here and at least flip field positions. No. Like if you're betting against Toledo, you're watching the football game like biting your nails when they have the ball. They're that good on offense. I don't get the same feeling from NIU. NIU has a really good defense. But in the MAC, when you have the better quarterback, the better overall offense, and you are at home, and I think they're still the better overall team, I'll take that every time because I know what I'm getting out of Logan Woodside. If NIU comes out tonight, Jeff, and Toledo scores 17 points, take your hat off and be like, damn, you guys brought it on defense. You deserved it. But Toledo is head and shoulders better than any offense in the MAC, and I'll take that all day long.
Plus, they're at home here. They're really at this point, Donnie. This is a big game for them. I mean, you actually got a big game next week as well against Ohio. Which, I mean, Donnie, I know it's a short notice, but we got to find a way to get to that game. I mean, what a game that's going to be. I mean, next week.
Who is it? What is it? Toledo, Ohio?
Yeah, that's November 8th. I remember we had talked about it out in Athens. I mean, I'm about to just take a drive, don't sleep and drive home. I'm about to do one of those kind of things. What a game that'll be. But we'll
Yeah.
chat. But yeah, either way, I'm gonna go with Toledo in this game. I just think Northern Illinois is an interesting team. They're always scrappy, but I just don't know that they faced a prolific offense like this. Could get interesting for them in this one on the road. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Toledo. Donnie, you're gonna agree with me on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Let's go to the
I
next one
do
here.
also advise that regardless of what that closing line is, if it ends up being 8 or 7.5, I'm still going to end up taking it. But I would wait till the last minute because 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9. So what if the sharp money comes in on Toledo and pushes it to 9? That doesn't make any difference. I'll
Right.
still take them.
Right.
But I think there's a chance the same way you saw out of nowhere, like, oh my God, it's Raglan playing. Let's bump this to 6.5 off of 9.5 in the MAC game the other night with Ohio. It's the same thing. Toledo's the better ball club here. I'm just waiting on a line. If I can't get 7, I'll take the 7.5. I'll take the 8. I'll take the 8.5. But I think there's a chance I might be able to get the 7 or the 6.5, which again begs the question, saying, simply, well, Donnie, if it goes to 6.5, doesn't that mean like the right move would be to take? No, don't chase the steam. Steam doesn't matter. It's 50-50 at best. I like Toledo. I think I can get a better price at 6.5. I would lean on that.
How'd that steam work out for you the other night?
I know, Stan. Like
Just
it's
be
just it's
real.
50-50. It feels really
Right.
good when you ride the steam and win, but the very next day you do that, you're going to take a loss. There's nothing behind money because again, Jeff, if it was all about steam, Las Vegas would not exist because we would sit on a Monday with a game that was 3, and all of a sudden it's 6.5, and it's a guaranteed winner. Everybody bets it, everybody wins. There's no electricity in Las Vegas. Doesn't happen like that.
You guys are the best. Keep up the good work. Big man, good luck with your weight loss. Thank you, sir. I'm down almost 11 pounds, so I'm
Mm,
working it. I don't know that I look like
yes.
it, but hey, I'm working.
There you
Appreciate that,
go.
sir. Thank you. And I want to thank all the listeners. Appreciate you all joining us today here on the right side of campus. If you're not subscribed to the show and to the website, please do that. SBR picks, a lot of great things. Whether you like college football, soccer, UFC, whatever you want, they have it at sbrpicks.com. There's a lot to look at, a lot of great columns and blogs. And Donnie, you got college basketball coming up. I know I've chatted with you recently. You're going to help me film some of these college basketball previews. And guys, I really just want to point out what they're going to be. I'm going to be shooting with hopefully with Donnie some 5 to 7 minute videos on each conference, kind of giving some up and coming teams, some teams that I like, some maybe some dark horses, and they're going to be there for anyone to reference throughout the year. A lot of people don't have the time, Donnie, to go through each team and see what you know Wyoming's done in the off season or what Coastal Carolina's done. So it's allows you to really kind of go back. Hopefully, we'll keep them all in a folder. Allow people to reference what's going on in the Summit League or what's going on in the Big West. So I'm going to try to do those. There's 32 conferences, so it'll take a while, but I think it'll be good for the people to have going forward. With the college basketball season coming up. So hopefully we could try to bang a couple of those out at some point. Donna, you with me on that?
I am with you on that, big man. You know how much interest or how
I
much
love
I've
you.
done on college basketball so far. I haven't even cracked open a magazine
Well,
yet.
you
We'll
know
get
what,
there.
Donnie? I'll tell you what. You actually don't even need to participate. All I need you to do is just host. Be your normal chipper self. I'll
That's it,
help you
baby.
there.
I'll learn off it, Jeff.
There you
You
go.
tell me. Like, good. We'll go on. I'll just have the earpieces in, and I'll get that same info. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the chat box. Is it true, Jeff Thompson, the wideout for Toledo, is out for this game?
Thompson's been out.
He
They've been
has.
able to. Yeah, he's been out. Donnie's being
Damn.
sarcastic. Yeah.
I know.
To all the guys out there, and we'll educate you here. Thompson's been out. Cody Thompson. He's been out for a couple weeks now, and
Yeah, first
they've been
first
able to
drive of
get
the Eastern
along.
Michigan game, he had a nasty,
Yeah.
nasty broken leg. I mean, again, it's one of those things, Jeff. We always talk about like, how come I always lose my best football player? In that game, Jeff, out of nowhere, Swanson doesn't play, which was great. And I hate to see kids get hurt and all that stuff, but sometimes you don't mind it when your money's on the opposite side. And I was on EMU, and he went down on the very first drive after catching like a 35-yard pass down to the 5-yard line. I'm like, oh my God, what am I in for today? And he went out on that. He's not coming back this year. He'll be back. I don't. Is he a senior this year? I mean, the kid's really good. It's a shame, but yeah, he's been out for a while now.
I mean, but you look at the rest of them. They have, Deontay Johnson, John Via Johnson, and Denzel McKinley Lewis. They have plenty of options there. Swanson out of
And
the
three
backfield.
really good running backs. There's
Yeah.
that's
Tompkins,
if you want to look at like a
Seymour.
West Coast offense where they spread it around, it doesn't matter who gets the. Now, is it nice that he would have been in the game? Yes, it is, but it really doesn't hamper their offense much.
I do not bet college basketball very much in the regular season. I think it's meaningless. Oh, good to know. I'm glad we don't care about what you think. Um, let's. How's it meaningless, Donnie? Can you explain that? Because I don't. I'm not sure. I see a lot of kids
Yeah,
that
I
work
don't.
very hard
I might find it
to.
a little bit hard to bet, like, the preseason tournaments because, teams that don't like come in and out or anything like that, or excuse me, I don't mean don't come in and out, but, getting that rotation set down. I like to bet when conference play starts. So I take a lot in on that November, December. Once January gets rolled around and conference play starts, that's when I really start to enjoy it a lot.
But you have kids that work their asses off to become good at what they do, and it's meaningless to him. So yeah, if any season's meaningless, it's the NBA. I don't know. I don't think you can get a more meaningless season than most of these teams. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Donnie, let's move on. You hear me all right, Donnie?
Yeah, I got you. Actually, something keeps showing up as that little like face there. It actually threw me off.
Yeah, I don't know what. I didn't know if that was on
No,
your
I
end
got
or on
you. I
my
think I
end,
think
but
we're I think we're okay. It actually made me laugh. I lost my train of thought twice when I saw that little guy like picture come
I
up there.
think
It made me kind of
Wanma's
laugh
screwing
again.
around with our system here uh, while we do our show. Take it easy, Wanma. Stop hitting buttons over there. I'm just messing with you. But let's get to the next game, Donnie, which we talked about ad nauseum yesterday on the show. Not going to go into a ton with this one just because we had already talked about it. Eastern Michigan minus 24 against Ball State, total 47. Um, you know, I'm not big into this game just because I don't really like laying this amount of points at Eastern Michigan. They're not a team that puts up 40 plus very much. And I feel like they're going to have to, if to cover this, they're going to have to shut them out or give up less than 10 points. Can they do that? Sure, they can. I just think there are better options maybe on the card tonight as opposed to this one. Donnie, I know you like Eastern Michigan. Tell us why.
Yeah, you know what's interesting too, Jeff? Last night, weather reports are going to be weather reports. I like the over last night because I'm reading into it, and most applications out there said, there's going to be some light rain, but it's not going to come in till 10 o'clock, maybe late third quarter. So I'm like, okay. And Jeff, right off the bat, I mean, it's just pouring and it doesn't let up the entire game, but you still end up hitting the over under. It's the same thing tonight when you look at this game. Maybe some light rain in the forecast. We'll see how that impacts it because if there is some light rain in the forecast, I actually would like to lean towards the under at 47. How crazy that is to say with Ball State's defense, how crazy that is to say with Ball State's offense. I still would lean towards the under in that situation if there is going to be rainy because I'm going to lean on Eastern Michigan's defense laughing. I mean, laughing at Ball State's offense. Unless there's some freak turnovers, which we do see happen, drop punts, which they must have dropped 5 of them in that Western Michigan, Central Michigan game last night. And again, the week before that, the only way that basically Ball State was scoring was recovering fumbles inside of the opposing team's 5-yard line, then cashing in on fourth down. Ball State's offense is bad. I know the young kid's going to get more practice reps over the last week. He's going to be a little bit better prepared to come into this football game. But the week before, Jeff, he was playing Bowling Green. Now he's going to step up in class and play Eastern Michigan. The one thing that'll be interesting to me if Eastern Michigan, who has struggled running the football, can run the football against Ball State and how much yardage they can get. They have 3 good wide receivers and a good quarterback for Eastern Michigan. You're right. It's a really, really high number, but it all gets down to the point again, Jeff, is when you watch Ball State, it's not if they can score, it's if they can get first downs. And I'll take the better defense in a blowout winner. And what I mean by blowout winner, Jeff, 31-3, it's happened quite a bit to Ball State, that score.
Yeah, it does. No, and then that's kind of the concern here. Can Ball State, put up 10 points? I'm not sure they can. They do have a decent running back that can definitely, score. I mean, we saw that against Toledo. Uh, Ball State is poor. Defensively, they're a mess. If they're going to score, Ball State, it's going to have to be from a big play or something like that. But Eastern Michigan will put up points. This is the team that they can put points up against. I could see them scoring 31. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Ball State's that bad, not only on the defensive side, but they just can't move the offensive side either. So, yeah, for me, it's a stay away. Donnie, you're leaning Eastern Michigan here. Let's go to the next one. And I actually, Donnie, didn't even realize that. I mean, the Navy shirt was there. I picked it up and threw it on. I'm not saying I'm on Navy, but we're gonna get into it.
Disrespectful,
Donnie,
Jeff.
last night, I was World Series had ended. I did a little a couple things on the computer and got my I actually wrote a letter to a friend of mine, and then I was thinking, you know, I need to watch a movie or something. I'm gonna watch a movie. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what movie do I want to watch? I'm looking through movies for a while, and I come across this movie that I'd never seen before called Castaway. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Never heard that.
And
What? You haven't seen that before? Where do you live on an island?
no, I never have actually. I feel like I've seen it like advertised, and like reference, but I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and it was extremely interesting. Just a great movie. But and I was just kind of tired. I stayed up late. I just woke up and I grabbed the Navy shirt, thinking, well, fuck it, I'll just put this on. And then people are saying, well, big man must be on Navy, likes Navy, got the Navy shirt on. But Doug, I have to ask with the whole Castaway movie.
Mhm.
I don't know how long it has been since you've seen it, but I felt like it was a little like I was hoping for more with like Like, how come they never reference, like, when he was on the island, for many years,
Mhm.
how come during
Yeah.
the movie how come during the movie they never reference back to his regular personal life? Like, what they had done since he was gone. They waited till the end. I thought that was interesting because, like, once he went on the island, there was no other reference to the outside world until he was found. I found it interesting
Well,
that they
no,
didn't go
how would they
back and
want it? He wouldn't know what was going on, though. How would you have what would
well,
you
no,
want
I'm
him to
not
update it
no, I'm
where,
not
like,
saying
his
for
wife's
him.
dating or his yeah.
No, I'd like to know from, like, the viewer point, like, what they were, all doing during this time. Because you find at the end, I guess it was cool at the end that we found out that they had found that he was dead and, and all this stuff, and then you find
Yeah.
him, but,
It's messed it's
it
but
was a
by the
good
way, it's really
movie.
messed up that, I know she got married, she had to move on with her life, but come on, man, dude comes back home, you gotta leave the husband, don't you? Like, you gotta reunite I don't care if you had a kid, you gotta reunite the family. It's like
Yeah,
Tom
I was
Hanks
hoping that
gotten back with
yeah, I was
that's a better finish to the story. I was kinda upset by that.
yeah, I was too, and I actually thought it'd be similar to, like, a Notebook kinda level. I know you haven't seen the Notebook, but,
No,
like,
I haven't.
yeah, Noah leaves his or Allie leaves her husband to get back with Noah because true love is more than, you know, more than they can even imagine, and they grow old with each other and then move on. But that's what I was
I'm not
hoping
gonna
for. I was
lie,
hoping
like,
for
I'm gonna be
Noah.
kinda mad, like, if I'm on an island for 5, 6, 7 years, and the only thing keeping me going is my fiancée, my wife, whatever, and then I come home and my wife's married with a kid, and it's like, "Yeah, I gotta stay here," and that's just what it's gonna be. Not gonna lie, I'd be kinda upset by that.
Yeah, I thought Helen Hunt was cold as ice. That's a great point, Austin. And it's a typical like she marries like a dentist, like he's kind of a douchebag, and it's like, come on,
They got the
like
Toyota
you have
Camry, yeah, com
yeah, the regular life, picket fence, one daughter, blah 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 blah. Then she finds out that he's alive. I mean, come on, you gotta leave. That's amazing. What an amazing story, Donnie. I mean, I
yeah.
gotta tell you though, at the end of the movie, what the hell was he thinking not picking up that country broad that like meets up with him at the end and he has the package and he delivers it to her. Then he sees her like on the road. I would have picked her up. Hell's Tom
Yeah,
thinking?
Castaway 2, man, Castaway 2, 20 years in the making, it's gonna happen.
Remember the part when he took his tooth out with a rock? No, he took it out with
Yeah,
the ice skate. He
with
had like
the
an ice
ice
skate.
skate, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
they bang the rock on the ice skate. Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. What an amazing movie though. I was really on the edge of my seat, and I was kind of scared at points because I'll tell you what, Donnie, oceans freak me out. I've said that to you before. I love the ocean. I'm around it my whole summer, but it's deep into the ocean that freaks me out. I've told you that. Being out at sea by yourself, there's nothing scary to me.
You're
And
right about that.
there was a ton of that in that movie. But now we're talking about the Naval Academy, Donnie.
Mhm.
Um,
Good segue.
let's get yeah, right, exactly. Navy laying 7, what do we have, 7 here? Yep, 7
Lines
headed onto the
dropping.
road. Yeah, yeah, headed to the road, to Temple, and I actually heard Jeff Collins talk yesterday, Donnie, on, WIP, and he was talking about this week they're giving a lot of these younger kids more opportunities. I don't know if you happened to catch that yesterday, but he was interviewed by, actually, he was on the Fanatic with Harry Mays, and they were interviewing him, and he was mentioning that a lot of the younger guys were going to get some reps in practice this week. Does that translate over to the game? I don't think. I think they're still alive, if you will, to make a bowl. But this is going to be a tough ask, Donnie. I mean, you get Navy coming in off a bye, off a loss, off 2 losses actually, and in revenge. Remember last year in the AAC title game, um, Temple beat them, took Wilworth out of the game. I don't believe a ton into
Hassan Reddick,
revenge a
yeah,
lot of the time.
monster.
Yeah. I don't believe a ton into revenge. When you're getting military schools, I think revenge is pretty important. And Niamatalolo will come out and say that, well, we don't care about revenge, blah, 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 blah. But most of these kids remember that game. Temple's obviously coming in here, half the team they were last year, kind of a shell. Frank Nutiel is going to get to start, Donnie, which I got to tell you, if I'm Jeff Collins, I think Nutiel should be the quarterback regardless.
Yes, correct.
He's been their best starter. I mean, in limited action, but I mean, he's from Don Bosco Prep. He's a high level recruit. Um, he should be the guy in there to begin with. Logan Marchi just wasn't good enough. Um,
Mhm.
I like I like Navy in this game. Temple struggled this year to stop the run. I know they've seen the option with Army, blah 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 blah, but here you have an option with AB who I mean, I'm going to take AB over any option quarterback in the country. They have that ability to throw the football a little bit now. Um, I just don't think Temple's very good. We've seen them not in every game. They played scrappy, but this just looks like a 34-20 type of game here.
It's interesting because they have that week and a half off too, obviously the same way that Navy has. How about, Army goes up, with Temple, and Temple arguably should have won that football game over a service academy with the triple option. You think that plays in tonight with Navy? Because, I mean, they just saw that same sort of triple option attack, and they had an extra 2 weeks now to prepare for another one. How do you think that's going to play into? Because I do. You're right. Temple's offense looks much better with this kid at quarterback than the other guys they were running out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, did they look good against Army? Yeah, but here's the problem: they still give up 31 points and they still lost the game because late in that game, Army was just able to do things that they weren't prepared for. Look, the option you can have months of time to prepare. You really just, I mean, look to me, Navy runs the option better than anyone. They're more athletic. With me, Donnie, and I don't know if you'd notice with Army, they're a little bit more weighed down with their option. They don't really take a lot of shots. They kind of run up the middle. That's just how they kind of do it.
Yeah, there's
I
no
hear
home
you
run
though.
threats on that team. None.
Right. I hear you though, and I want to make this a point. Navy, I think, is the play here, and I think they're going to win by double digits. But I do hear your point. I think New Teal is the best option at quarterback for Temple. Could they get up for this game? Sure. Are they in a good spot? Sure. I just think Navy will do enough. They've had a couple tough games recently. I still think they're a really good football team. They just faced two teams that were really good as well. And God, even last week, I mean, you lose to UCF without AB in the second half, without playing the best offense in the country statistically, scoring wise. I think they'll bounce back here and really play well.
No, I hear you. Looks like something's wrong with my screen popping up where I can't get on camera here. So that little guy is going to pop up here. But I agree with you there. That whole Navy Temple thing. Zach Abe's back, had the concussion. Now he's going to be back. So they're saying he's healthy, and I believe he is. You're right. Navy hits more home runs on offense by far than Army does. So it'll be interesting to see how this game actually plays out. But it's kind of funny that line is dropping down a little bit. And I do like the fact, again, that they played just recently versus Service Academy team to get ready for it. And actually should have won the football game. Great run by Armstead, which what a shame. That run was so damn good that they actually lost the game on that run, Jeff. So it happens there. We'll see how they bounce back in this one. But I think the line's going to be key. If you're going to give me over a touchdown, probably I would lean towards Temple at home in this one, Jeff.
But Donnie,
Just
if you're
keeping it simple.
getting, you
I
would
don't have
agree
much on it though.
at this number at 7, you got to go with Navy. At 10.5, okay, maybe I'm more inclined to look towards a dog. But I mean, Temple just really, I mean, in step up games, just really hasn't played well this year. I mean, they've, but they are good against the spread. I mean, that's something you have to point out. They're always pretty decent overall, but those were with a lot better Temple teams. Overall, I just don't know that they're going to hang in this game. They played well lately, though. I mean, you got to give them little respect, but um, this is a really potent team, and a lot like South Florida, a team that they got absolutely crushed by. Now you're playing with revenge. Those military schools, they're not the types of teams you want to have a team taking revenge out against. Yeah, Auburn's players were suspended. Yep, I would imagine that has to do with the indictment that was sent down earlier. Wiley, he's been largely involved possibly in that, and Purifoy, wouldn't surprise me if Levon Coleman was, involved with him and that kind of thing. So yeah, that sucks for Auburn, but we did have kind of a feeling that Bruce Pearl was loosely involved with that. Idaho, Troy. I don't have a ton here. Idaho was largely exploited, Donnie, against Missouri. I mean, they gave up a ton of points in that game. And surprisingly enough, Donnie, going into that game, Idaho actually was pretty good against the pass. They played well. They're doing some good things defensively, but Missouri really humbled them in that game and really just crushed them. Now you got to head to Troy, another tough place to go and play, and against a defense that's really stingy, Donnie, giving up just 17 points a game. Seems like a lot of points. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't actually have that much on this game. I didn't take that much time with Idaho and Troy. It just seems like a lot of points, 17 and a half. I know Troy can get the job done and how well they play at that point, but I just don't. I just, didn't spend that much time. I couldn't give you an honest opinion on the over-under at the 50 or even a side in that one. I was more focused on those two action games here today.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. But an interesting travel spot. I mean, you go to Missouri, then you go back home and play UL Monroe. Actually, let's start out. You start out with App State. You got to go to Missouri, go back home to play UL Monroe. Now you're back to Troy. A lot of air miles, Donnie. for Idaho. That could catch up with them late in this game. Maybe an over. Troy might be able to put up some points in this game. Do
Yeah.
I think Idaho can get to 17? I think. I mean, they have a capable quarterback. I think the total is a little low. I'm going to look over 51. I think we see like I don't know, a 34-17 type of game. I think it just gets up and over the total. That's kind of what I'm going to lean. So I'm going to go, Donnie. I'm going to go Toledo minus the points. What do we have? 7.5. I'm going to go with that. I don't think it's going to matter either way. I really just don't know if it'll get to 7. We'll see. I'm going to skip Eastern Michigan, Ball State. I'll go with Temple minus 7, and I'll go with over 51 in Troy, Idaho. Anything you want to send out, Donnie?
Yeah, I'll lead on that Toledo game. I'll take it whatever the game. If it ever dips to 7 during the day, I will take that, or 6.5, obviously. But even if it creeps to 9.5 at game time for Toledo, I'm still going to be on Toledo there. I just think I might be able to wait out for a better number. I don't care if it goes to 8 or 8.5. It's the same line technically to me anyway before it creeps up to 10. So I'll wait on it. But I am going to put a little down on Toledo tonight. That Ball State Eastern Michigan game, I'm just going to stick by my guns. I know it's not ugly and it's not going to be a fast cover like you would get where, Toledo can move up and down the field on Ball State. Eastern Michigan going to maybe plot it a little bit more, but I can just see that one, Jeff, 7-0 first quarter, 10-0 in the second quarter, 17-0 or 17-point lead in the third. And then, you get a stop late and you punch one in to get that over 24, whatever it is, 25 points there. I just think they're good enough. And that line creeping up again. Chris now showing a minus 24.5 in that one. So you're asking Eastern Michigan to win by 4 touchdowns here when technically that's not their MO. I just think it's that overreaction to how bad Ball State really is, especially now down to their 4th string quarterback. So we'll see what happens, but I'll stick to my guns with Eastern Michigan. But I like Toledo a little bit better than that Eastern Michigan game, though.
Yeah, Donnie, you watch the MAC a ton. I'd be interested to hear your opinion. I see some people talking about draft stocks and stuff like that. Do you think Logan Woodside's an NFL quarterback?
He, yes, he's an NFL quarterback. Are you drafting him to be because, I mean, there's a lot of people that get paid a lot of money over a lot of years to be that backup and can come into the game. You know who he actually reminds me of, Jeff? And it's kind of funny. This guy's made a ton of money. He's Chase Daniel out there, Jeff. He really is.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting comparison. I haven't heard that before,
Yeah.
but I mean, you've had some good quarterbacks at Toledo. I mean, Philip Eli a couple years ago, he came in from Alabama. The Woodside kind of waited in the wings. There have been some impressive quarterbacks come out of the MAC. There have been a lot of impressive football players to come out of the MAC. A conference that I think is getting a lot more love lately, which I think's great. But they've had some really good players to come out of this conference, and it's been impressive. Does Khalil Tate have a chance at Heisman? No, no, too late. If he would have started from
Yeah,
the
it's too late.
beginning, look to Rich Rod. I mean, he's to blame for that because I think if he starts from the beginning, yeah, I agree. I think he would be. You would agree with that, Donnie, right? I mean, if he plays from the beginning and puts up these kind of numbers, he's in there surely.
Yeah, where have we seen it from the past? The team that's maybe not so good, but video game number stats. Look at Lamar Jackson. He would have been on that same wavelength, and he would have been the new Lamar Jackson that he would have said, "Oh my God, look at these stats he's putting up. Give him the Heisman Trophy." Because, right, I mean, it's Saquon Barkley's to lose, but he does take a little bit of a shot. He didn't win at Penn State. Now, if he just goes off the next, 3-4 weeks, and we'll see what happens in that. He's probably still going to get it anyway. But you're right. Everybody's always looking for the next thing and to take you down a couple pegs. And a guy that's running at like 20 yards per carry as a quarterback, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Donnie, let's get into the NFL tonight. Jets
Sure.
hosting the Bills. By the way, Donnie, want to mention tonight I will be on at 10 o'clock Eastern, filling in for Gabe Morenzi. Ian Cameron will join me. Him and I will. We'll probably have plenty of people. If you want to join Donnie, you can jump on. A lot of people jumping on. We'll take you through. We might even get a call from the man himself, Gabe Morenzi, at the game. But we'll take you through tonight. Little late night on campus action, Donnie. We bring it back
Yeah.
from the dead, and hopefully we'll have some fun tonight. We'll chat about the games tonight. We got Maction on. We got all sorts of stuff going on. So we'll bring you through tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern here on SBR Picks. So make sure to join us. Donnie, NFL Jets getting 3 total. What do we have here? 42.5 or 43. If you like the 43, like the under, head on over to Bookmaker, bet online. Um, we talked about this yesterday, Donnie. I'm inclined to take the over at 42.5. I think both these teams will have some success offensively. I think Buffalo plenty of success. Their new toy, Calvin Benjamin. You got a good run game, quality receivers, a quarterback in Tyrod Taylor that can, you know, play well. I mean, he's played well this year. I think they put up the 24. I think the Jets can score as well. Buffalo's pass defense not particularly great. I would look to attack that. These are normally low scoring, but 42.5 pretty low total in football. What are you leaning here?
I mean, I'm probably won't have any action in this game, but leaning towards the Jets in the spot. Home dog getting 3. They know each other pretty well. Buffalo Bills, everybody's excited that Kelvin Benjamin's going to be there. Not really sure if he's going to play in this game, but if he does, they might have a couple red zone targets, maybe a package or two to use him in. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. But the one injury I'm worried about, Jeff, for the Jets, if you're looking to back the Jets, is Mo Claiborne. Went down with an injury in the last game going against Atlanta. Was doing a very good job on Mohamed Sanu for most of the game. If he doesn't play tonight, that's going to be a big hit against them. Buster Screen's going to play. Looks like Muhammad Wilkerson's going to play. So everybody lining up. Jeremy Curley out as well. Jets play really well at home. Not asking it just to win the game, just hang around and be close. I think they can do that. More the MO for me, Jeff, for the Buffalo Bills, if they're heading out on the road in the division, they're just looking to get the victory. No style points in this one Thursday night football game. Let's go out and play a good game. And I can see them doing that, but Jets have been pretty good at home this year. I would lean on taking the +3, but I'm probably not going to have any action on this game here, Jeff.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a spot for the Jets. Looks like a Jet line to me, kind of at home. They played really well at home this year, and that's kind of why I'm leaning on the over. I think they will put up some points in this game. I do think Buffalo's pass defense is a little vulnerable, but it's all going to be about can the Jets get open. I mean, they don't have a high level roster or anything. Can McCown get it to them? It'll be tough, but it's not the best NFL game in the world. I'll definitely probably be watching little Maction or Navy over this one.
Yeah, probably,
Donovan,
and
a
I'm
couple
probably
minutes.
rooting for the Buffalo
Yep.
Bills as it is, just because there might be an heir to the throne where somebody can rise up and give New England a little bit of problems there, maybe a flex game, maybe a night game in Buffalo when they play New England. So that should be pretty fun to watch overall. I'm probably rooting interest the Bills, but I do think the Jets might be a little bit better play here.
What do you think about Arizona USC? We've talked about that one. Talked about Yetta yesterday. I have a bet buffet video. Donnie, maybe you want to give your opinion there. I check out my video on SBR, brother. What do you think,
Yeah,
Donnie? You have
I
any
don't have
opinion on
I don't
that game?
have much on that game. Should be a fun game to watch overall. I like the way USC played last week, knocking out Arizona State, who thought they were apparently something after their victory over Washington, but it turns out they're nothing more than what they typically always are. But yeah, I don't have much on this game. It's a step up in class, step up in competition. You're going into USC. You're getting 7 points, so you're not asking them to win the football game outright, but how big in this spot? I don't like USC's defense overall. I think Arizona's going to put up points. But then again, when you flip the script to the other side, Jeff, you do need some stops out of the Arizona defense, and that's going to be tough to stop that USC offense when they're humming.
No, I totally agree with you. I actually like the over a lot in this game, which I pointed out on that video. You have some really good pace analytics here and stuff like that. These teams love to score, quick scores as well. I just don't think we see a lot of defense in this game. Donnie, Rostradamus, I really, really hate Thursday night NFL. Just not a quality
Me
product.
too.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about
Has
that
no
one all
business
year.
being on. None. Has zero business in the NFL being on Thursday night. And they're so, I don't even want to say counterproductive. The NFL talks out of both sides of their mouth. We don't like gambling. Let's put a team in Las Vegas. We are all about player. Jeff, we're all about player safety so much that here's my favorite one. Good. I'm glad you brought that up because player safety, right? We
Here we
need player
go.
safety. You're going to let them play 3 games 3 days later on a Thursday night football with a bad product just because you want the TV money. Hypocrites right there. But my favorite one of all, Jeff, everybody screams in Philadelphia, like, we want throwbacks. We want to wear throwbacks. We want the Kelly Greens back for a couple games. Riddle me this. The NFL, you're not allowed to have a second helmet because they want the players to wear their first helmet. Well, why don't they do the same thing where you can't change your shoulder pads, you can't change your cleats the whole year, you can't change your socks the whole year, you can't play on turf, you might as well play on grass. Where does it come in, Jeff? In the college football, they have 97,000 different combinations of helmets and jerseys, but it's okay. But the NFL, who's worth billions of dollars, can't figure out how to make 2 identical helmets so you can have a throwback. And also, how many times do you watch the refurbished teams? It all the way goes back to Rudy. Do you ever see the movie Rudy, Jeff, where the Friday night before the football game, they have 15 to 20 boosters in there, reconditions the helmets to make sure that they're all nice and new, ready to go for the Saturday football game? You're telling me after Friday or Saturday practice, an NFL team that has to take care of 53 helmets can't have a staff in there that can change the regular helmet into a Kelly green helmet. Did I miss something, Jeff, with the NFL here? Did I?
No, no, we all know they're a shit product, Donnie. That's normal. That's how it
Frankly,
goes.
I mean,
Big
you
man,
can't have a second helmet. You're worried about concussions because they can't wear a second helmet? What is this, like sci-fi theater?
are you rocking the mid-Chep sweater? Is that an omen? No, no, it's just random. LSU Alabama discussion tomorrow. Yes, we'll get into the NFL and the college football card tomorrow. I actually never realized there was 4 games tonight plus a NFL game. So we kind of
Yeah.
been breaking it down. It adds up. But yeah, we'll get into rapid fire tomorrow. NFL and college. A lot of good college games this week. A lot of good NFL games. Donna, before we go, do want to just ask you about this. Eagles obviously playing this week. What do you think about this game? What are your early thoughts on this number?
Yeah, like I know a lot of people in town, we're not used to being good in Philadelphia. We're not used to being, that letdown football team. Do you ever think Green Bay talks about letdowns when Aaron Rodgers is healthy? Or, like
Uh,
Seattle talk about letdown. You know what I mean? When you have that, we finally have that quarterback. There's no such thing as a letdown. Now, covering the spread is a different story. If you're asking me right now about the Eagles game, am I nervous? No, it's Brock Osweiler. He stinks. That offense is. Have you watched the Denver Broncos, Jeff, over the past 3 to 4 weeks on offense? They are straight
yeah, they're drunk.
putrid. And it almost doesn't matter what the Eagles are going to go up against. Carson Wentz is going to score, 24 to 27 points against anybody. I don't think Denver is going to be able to move the football very much against the best rushing defense in the NFL. And then you're going to say Brock Osweiler is going to step in and just throw dimes all over the place. It's not happening. Now, I do think, 8, 9 points, maybe a little bit much because Denver does have a good defense. They're going to be in the football game. I don't think it's a straight runaway like you just pasted the Washington Redskins and you just pasted, overall the San Francisco 49ers. But I don't have any inkling in my body that the Eagles are going to lose this football game. The Eagles win. Whether or not they cover is a different story. If I had to put money on it, I think the Eagles are going to win this game by 10 points just because that Broncos offense is pathetic, man.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I don't think Brock Osweiler is going to do much either
Yeah.
to help them. Um, other than that, Donnie, we'll wrap it up. We've been on about an hour. Catch me tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, with Ian Cameron on the abbreviated late night on campus. We're on for Gabe as he attends the Jet Bill game tonight. Donnie will be on at 6. Donnie, before we go, I wanted to throw out a fun little play for the listeners. If you wish to opine, feel free. Going to give you a big underdog today in Europa League. Whether you bet it, it's up to you, but I will be on it today. Let's go with Europa. Bate Borisov plus 425 in Europa League. I don't understand this number. It doesn't make much sense to me. I just want to put into reference the team they're playing, Cologne. They're a German side in the Bundesliga. They're in dead last. They've given up 19 goals this year. Some of their better players are out. Bate Borisov, Donnie, do you know where they are? Can you tell me
No.
what country they're from?
Nope. I do not know.
Belarus. They're
Hmm.
actually pretty good as well. Not a great roadside, but I think at this price they have to be bet. I'll be on them today. A nice little over 4-1 price back on Bate Borisov against Cologne. Cologne is a struggling side. They're not winning anything in the Europa League. They're headed back to the doldrums of the Bundesliga. Even their fans aren't going to save them today. Bate goes in. I think they get the win today. Let's go Bate Borisov plus 425. Skender Bayo. No, I don't like them today. Donnie, by the way, I wanted to explain some interesting stuff here. Skender Bayo, an Albanian team, they're headed into Serbia tonight to play Partizan Belgrade. There'll be no away fans in the stadium. In this matchup, there are no away fans allowed at either stadium. They're concerned about the issues with Serbians and Albanians here. They've happened to be matched up here. The last time 2 teams played from Serbia and Albania, there was a riot on the field. Someone threw a drone over the stadium with an Albanian flag. Got very much out of hand. That guy's a hero in Albania, but he's not very liked in Serbia. So, they get matched up. No away fans allowed, Donnie. So, a lot of interesting things that go on in the Europa League. Before we go, Donnie, we got about a minute to go. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I want to see if you can get these correct. Where is AC Milan?
I'm going to go Italy.
You would be correct. I hope you got that
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Where is Salzburg?
I'm going to go Germany with that type of name.
They're close. Austria.
Ooh,
actually.
damn, close.
You're very close. Good one. Let's do two more. Where is Nice?
France?
Good job, Donnie Rightside. You're
Yeah,
killing it
there we
today.
go. Dang.
Where is Victoria Plizen?
Oh, Jesus. Listen. Sounds like a beer. I'm gonna go Germany again on that one.
Not too far off. Czech Republic. And
Damn.
one more.
All right.
Where is Reykjavik?
Iceland?
No, the great country. Rest in peace, Drazen Petrovic. Shout out Tony Kukoc. Croatia.
Former
Shout out
Yugoslavia?
Dario Saric. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Shout out to Dario Saric, the man, the myth, the legend, Dario Saric. Tomorrow we also will get into little Jahlil Okafor, Ben Simmons. Jahlil Okafor is being treated extremely poor by the Sixers. This is really a disgrace. Other than that, you're on your own. We'll be on later tonight. Me and Ian Cameron, Donnie, you'll be on 6 o'clock closing line. We'll look forward to
Yep.
that. Other than that, Donnie, anything else today?
That's it, man. Let's get after it, man. Had a good show. Thanks, fellas.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Right side of campus, 12:30.